Wealthsimple Trade or Questrade. These are seen as the two best options available to Canadian investors when it comes to brokerages. And in today's video, I want to cover a factual, honest, in-depth comparison between these two brokers to figure out which is the best Canadian broker here. Unfortunately, in Canada, we don't get options like Robinhood, M1 Finance, or Webull. So we either have to go to the big banks and rely on them with their high fees, or we can go to these discount brokers like Questrade or Wealthsimple and hopefully get a similar experience. So in this video, what I'm actually going to do is go over 5 different components here that I want to compare side by side with these two brokers. I'm going to give them each a score with each component. So it's going to be a fun video, and at the end, we're going to actually see which one of these two comes out as the winner, as the best broker in Canada here. Now, I also want to note that there is another option, Interactive Brokers, here available to Canadians, which I don't discuss in this video. If you want to see a dedicated video on that as well, let me know in the comment section down below. But for today's video, guys, if you enjoy this comparison, there's been a ton of requests from my Canadian viewers, and I got to show you guys some love. So smash that like button down below to show your support for this video. But let's get into it. So like I said, we're going to be comparing 5 core things here when making a decision on a broker, and here's number 1. So as Canadians, we have a lot of different types of options for accounts available, but the most popular are typically your RRSP, your TFSA, and probably a taxable or margin account. Here we consider Wealthsimple that they offer all 3 types of accounts Canadians would typically be interested in. They have a TFSA available if you wanted to invest in there. They have an RRSP available for retirement saving, and they also have a personal account, which would be your taxable account. This is a very good start because when Wealthsimple first launched about a year ago, they didn't have the flexibility of all these other types of accounts. So it's good to see that they've caught up here with the competition. Now, Wealthsimple is pretty transparent on what they don't offer here, and there's a lot. There's no joint account, there's no RESP, there's no margin account. None of this stuff is available yet, but maybe if we're lucky in the near future, we'll see these supported as well. Now, on Questrade, you get a lot of different account types to choose from. Of course, you have the typical TFSA here, but for retirement, you have a whole slew of different types of retirement accounts available. You have a regular RRSP, a spousal RRSP, and even a LIRA, which is a locked-in retirement account, which some employers use. Or typically when you leave an employer and you want to transfer the savings that you had there over time where they contributed, you can typically transfer that in as a LIRA. So if you're in need here for something beyond a typical RRSP, this has a lot of choices. Now you have a couple options for RESP as well, which is an account parents use to build up savings for their child's education. You have a bunch of entity and trust account types. This is typically not going to be used by individuals, but it's nice knowing that there's an option for that if required. And of course, you have margin accounts available, which are taxable, but give you margin leverage if desired for both personal and joint accounts here. So to me, the clear winner here with account availability and different account types is Questrade. However, like I said, for most Canadians that are typically looking for just a TFSA, an RRSP, or maybe a taxable account, both brokers really offer that, so it's hard to differentiate the two. But if you're looking for something more specific, maybe a savings education account for your kids, maybe a joint account, then you'd have to look at Questrade really to take advantage of those account types. So I'd say for this category, I will give the win here to Questrade. So as Canadians, it's typically a hassle for us to invest in US companies, and a lot of us want to invest in US companies because we see a lot more potential there. But because we have Canadian dollars, there's typically a lot of fees involved. As a result, we typically have 2 options really. We either convert our Canadian dollars to US dollars ourselves or using some method, or we just pay the broker directly with a conversion fee. Wealthsimple here says they allow you to purchase and sell US stocks and ETFs, which is great. But then they say you will be subject to a conversion fee that they charge to do this. Most banks or brokers in Canada charge a fee of 2 to 2.5% for conversion, and this is on top of the daily conversion rate from US dollars to Canadian dollars. But Wealthsimple here says that they charge a 1.5% fee. Now, although this may be lower than the average, I am not a huge fan of this because you are paying quite a premium here. But it gets worse. Wealthsimple Trade does not support USD in your account. So if you buy a US stock today with Canadian dollars, they charge you the conversion rate plus the 1.5% fee. But then when you say sell the stock next year, you would have to pay that conversion fee once again to convert those funds back to Canadian dollars. This will add up over time, especially if you're going to be making a lot of purchases in US equities in your accounts. Questrade, on the other hand, does give you the option to get around this conversion fee. Now, first off, I found it quite odd that Questrade didn't explicitly state on their website what their conversion fee was. But after some digging on the internet, it does look to be around 2%. Now, this is, of course, higher than Wealthsimple's 1.5%. And what makes it worse is that Questrade doesn't seem to be publicly kind of transparent on this, which does seem a bit sneaky here to me. Anyways, that aside, something offered on Questrade is the Norbert Gambit. And I made a video on this, I think, over 2 years ago now, and it still applies today. If you're looking to convert your Canadian dollars to US dollars with minimal fees, make sure to check out this video. Questrade allows you to hold US dollars in your account, so you can use the Norbert Gambit method to convert your Canadian dollars to US dollars with minimal fees to avoid that 2% charge. Now, you do pay some other fees like exchange fees, which are typically not seen on other brokers, but Questrade does charge them for certain conversions and certain equity types, but it is going to be significantly lower than the 2% or 1.5% that either broker charges you for a direct conversion. What's better is that once the currency is converted here in Questrade, you have the ability to hold US dollars directly in your account. So say you want to buy Apple today with 5,000 Canadian dollars, you can go to Questrade, do the Norbert Gambit method, convert those funds to US dollars, and then go and purchase the stock. Then say you want to sell those shares a year later, you can do that, and all the proceeds will then remain in US dollars. So you're not paying a conversion fee back to Canadian dollars. So again, here I think the clear winner is Questrade. If you are looking to purchase US stocks or hold US dollars in your accounts, then Questrade is the clear winner and the option to go with. Unlike our American friends, commissions are still something that we have to deal with here with most brokers in Canada. Now, you don't really have to go far to find out that Wealthsimple Trade does not charge you for commissions. It's a $0 fee. So this means you can actually buy and sell equities without paying any commissions. With Questrade, it's not quite as simple, as they do charge a commission, and the minimum that you'll pay to buy a stock, like say Microsoft, for example, is $4.95. And just as a side note, if it's a US stock, that's going to be $4.95 US. If it's a Canadian stock, it'll be $4.95 Canadian. Then when selling that stock, you will also pay a $4.95 fee as well. But the kicker here is that this increases if you have more shares that you want to purchase. So the higher the share amount, the more commissions you'll pay, and it's capped at $9.95 per trade. Now for ETFs, Questrade does not charge a commission, but I did mention the exchange fees earlier, and that typically is seen when you purchase these, and they do add up over time, especially when you're buying large quantities. Sometimes if you're purchasing thousands and thousands of dollars worth of ETFs, these ECN fees can add up to $10 or $20 per trade. Now, selling ETFs here on Questrade is not free. You will be charged the same commission structure as if you were selling a regular equity, so between $4.95 and $9.95 to sell any ETFs. So I mean, this one's pretty clear here. The winner is Wealthsimple Trade. They have no commission charges at all, whereas Questrade, the cheapest that you'll pay for any sort of equity, whether US or Canadian, is going to be $4.95. Now, Questrade is the more established broker here. They have been around longer, and in my opinion, they do offer quite a bit more when it comes to features and capability here on their platform. You have things like DRIP for your dividends, reinvestments. You have things like option trading, and these are all things that investors look for, which are both experienced or beginner investors. When it comes to account management, Questrade charges no fees to open or close the account, but depending on your balance, they charge $24.95 a quarter if your assets are less than $1,000 in any of your accounts. And this will apply if you don't complete at least one trade during the quarter. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule, like if you're under 25, for example, but it is a fee to make note of nonetheless if you're planning to start investing here for the long term with a smaller account. Wealthsimple Trade, on the other hand, charges absolutely no fees here to open, close, or maintain the account, even if it's inactive. So you can see here that this company is actually geared towards helping Canadians start investing with as little money as possible, and the other one's really focused on more mid to larger sized investors. As of today, unfortunately, neither broker offers partial shares, and I think that's something that we really need to see in Canada here to actually get a lot of younger investors start investing in the markets. In the US, there's tons of options for partial shares, but in Canada, we're still yet to see that innovation with these major discount brokers. So when it comes to really fees and features here, I would say that it's kind of a tie between the two. Questrade offers you a lot more features like, drip and options trading, whereas Wealthsimple Trade actually has less fees overall. So we're going to give each of these half a point here for this category. Now, this last category is often overlooked until you sign up for one of these brokers and you need help. I'm talking about customer service because, in my opinion, this is critical for making a decision on which broker to go with. Now, I have used Questrade's customer service personally, and I'll say that they have been very solid with this. They offer chat support, which I do use, and it's quick and seamless for me to get an answer to a question that I have or to get an issue resolved, and I've been quite happy with their service. With Wealthsimple Trade, I haven't not used it firsthand. However, it doesn't look like they have any chat support available. They do have a number to call between 9 to 5 and the option to open a ticket, but there's something about getting instant chat support to me that's valuable. With the ability of chat support, you can pretty much start the chat while you're doing other things and resolve your issue hassle-free while you get other things done simultaneously. However, with calling in, you have to pretty much focus your full attention to resolve the issue, possibly wait on hold, and the whole experience isn't as seamless. Also, going down the ticket route, I'm not a huge fan of that either, because you don't really know when it's going to be answered, and you got to fill out a whole form to describe the issue, and if it's not clearly described, they're going to come back to you and ask you for clarification, and then you have to go back and forth, and an issue that could be solved within a 10-minute chat could actually end up taking you 2 to 3 days to resolve. So maybe I'm nitpicking here, but in my opinion, having chat support is critical for almost any business here that has customers interacting with them directly. And because Questrade offers this, I'm going to give the win here to Questrade. So now let's tally up the results. For account types offered, Questrade gets a point. For US investments, Questrade gets a point. For commissions, Wealthsimple Trade gets a point. For other features and fees, we had a tie here, so they each get half a point. And then for customer service, Questrade gets the point. So the final score that we have here is Questrade with 3.5 out of 5 and Wealthsimple Trade with 1.5 out of 5. So I think this comparison video here makes it clear as to the value of each platform. Wealthsimple Trade clearly boasts that they have $0 commission fees, and they're actually catered towards beginner investors with smaller portfolios who are only interested really in investing in Canadian equities. Now, the overwhelming majority of investors in Canada will most likely benefit from this, which is why Wealthsimple Trade is a great option and has taken off quite significantly here in Canada. Questrade, on the other hand, is a more advanced broker. They offer you a lot more advanced features, but at the same time, because of that, you're paying for those features. You're paying those commission fees, account fees, and other fees that they bundle in as well. Now, if either of these brokers are watching this video, Questrade, the one thing I have for you is to really focus on lowering your fees. You need to compete with Wealthsimple Trade here and offer $0 commissions, because sooner or later, the market is going to demand that, just like it has in the US. And I would like to see you guys be proactive on this instead of reactive, because that'll actually help your image a lot here, in my opinion. Now, with Wealthsimple Trade, the one thing I think you guys need to focus on is bringing proper USD support. So either having US dollars capable in the account or supporting Norbert Gambit, so that investors that want to invest in US equities aren't paying these additional fees to do so. Also, on behalf of all Canadians here, I do want to ask both brokers to consider adding fractional shares to their account. This will help investors over time with things like dividend reinvestments and actually building up their portfolio, even though they may not have enough cash for shares like Amazon, for example, that trades over $2,000 per share. I think it's going to help elevate the investment landscape here in Canada. I think that's something that we really need to have in this country. So if you guys know anyone working at either of these brokers, make sure to send this video to them so that they know the pain points and hopefully can address them in future updates. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below which of these two brokers you chose to go with here in Canada. Now, as an aside, if you are interested in signing up with Questrade, I have a link in the description down below as an affiliate link. And if you are considering signing up with Wealthsimple, I don't have an affiliate link there, but I'll leave a link description down below to their website if you want to do so. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, this was a highly requested video, so I hope you found it useful. And as I said, if you want to see a video on interactive brokers, which is kind of the third good option here in Canada, let me know in the comment section down below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to invest positively, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.